Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. In the beginning of this week's Torah portion, the Torah tells us that when Moshe instructed Bezalel, the chief artisan, to build the Mishkan, Rashi explains that Moses told Bezalel first make the vessels, the candelabra, the ark, the altar, and after you build the vessels, then build the actual tabernacle. But Bezalel questioned Moses and said, Moses, is that the way of the world? That first you build and design the furniture and then only afterwards you build a house around the furniture? No, first you build a home and then you create the furniture. And therefore, Bezalel said, first we should build a tabernacle and then we should build the vessels. And Moses said to Bezalel, you're right. That's why your name is Bezalel, in the shadow of God, because you are aligned with the true will and intention of God. But the question is, what was Moses thinking in the first place? Why would Moses think that first they should build the furniture, the vessels, the holy artifacts, and then build the actual tabernacle? And the answer is that in life, we always have to remember what is the end goal and what is only the means to an end. So for example, a person goes to work, they work hard. Why are they working hard? Because they want to earn a living. Why do they want to earn a living? Because they want to take care of their family. But if you get so caught up in the means to the end that you forget about the end, then you end up working so much that you're never available for your family. So the means overtook the actual goal and intention. When you build a home, why do you build a home? So your family could have a place to dwell together, to have peace, to have harmony, to have love, to be together in unity. You could build the most beautiful vessel, the most beautiful home. But you always have to remember why you built the home. You built a home so you could spend time together as a family and grow together and bond together. And therefore the family has to live in harmony and peace and unison. We should never get so caught up in the trappings and the externalities that we forget what the ultimate goal and intention was. And therefore Moses says, first you should build the vessels, because that's the reason you're building the tabernacle. Why do you build a synagogue? So you can come and connect with God, so you can pray, so you can study Torah, so you could have the ark with the tablets, so you could have the candelabra to create illumination, to have the altar to create atonement, or to offer offerings of gratitude to God on the altar. And therefore, start with what is most important. But Bezalel says, yes, you're right, but you also have to be practical. And practically, you need a vessel, you need the walls of the tabernacle in order to facilitate all of that. But Moses says, you're right, but never forget the intention, the purpose of why you created it in the first place. In life, it's very easy to get caught up in the technicalities, in the repetitious daily grind, as they call it. We could get so caught up in the physical actions that we forget the spiritual intention of why we are performing these physical actions in the first place. And so the tabernacle reminds us, keep the goal in sight, in mind, and never lose vision of that perspective, of that ultimate purpose of everything you are doing. There's a story told about a man who came to a construction site and he saw 3 people cutting stone. So he says to the first one, tell me, what are you doing? And the first one says, I'm cutting stone. And so he turns to the second one and he says, what are you doing? And he says, I'm earning a living. And then he said to the third one, what are you doing? And he said, I'm building a palace for the king. We could look at our mundane activities as just mundane. We're cutting stone. We could look to a higher vision. We want to provide and take good care of our families. Or we could look to the ultimate vision of all of our actions in this world, which is to make this world a dwelling place, a palace for God, a place where God's love, kindness, peace, and tranquility can dwell here on earth. Have a wonderful day.